Hello and welcome to Bognor Regis, Chris's N Gauge, and in this series I'll be showing you how I kit bashed the red brick engine shed double track Metcalfe from the kit and the kit only, plus using their red brick sheets, grey card naturally, and only the water tank from the ratio water tower. Now looking at the engine shed, you've got the workshop to the left and the main engine shed on the right, and this is what I'm going to try and copy. Now it's in its tripod now, the camera, so hopefully much better picture. Right, this is what comes with the kit. I'll show you this way here. Now I've had to cut bits of it off in order to make mine. So you get the outside skin, which is that length. You get the inside one. Now, I would have stretched the whole length, but I've cut that up into sections because I've been using it. Then you have your inner board. Your window glazing goes on the back of this there, so it's sandwiched between the next board, and then inside is the inside section of the shed. So that's how that goes. Now with mine, because it's longer and the roof is different, this now replaces that. So this is what I've got here. These, as you can appreciate, are those cut up there. I don't want to get them mixed up, so I'll just put them over here. Then we have the inner board, or sorry, the outer board goes behind the back of this, with the windows cut. The next section is the inside board, which is that one there. And then the next part I've got to do is I've got to cut, I've got plenty of this, cut that to go on the inside, which will replace that. And that's what I've got to do, just for the two walls. So I've already prepared the two walls. The other section, as you can see, is cut here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit these first and see what they look like. It depends on then how further I go. It might look good, it might look absolute crap, but we'll take it from there. So I'll show you what I've done in a minute. Right, back to the walls. This time, rather than trying to do the marker pen, I have actually made my own colour, and I've done all the insides in the hope that you won't see any white. I don't bother with the ends because they're covered over. But before I go any further, the inner walls I've bought is 1mm grey board, which is matching the same stuff as what was originally there. Now the thing that I've got to think about is that on the original part you have these going across here and they hook in somewhere like that. I imagine there would be one either end. Not too sure until I read the instructions. Now I'm going to use these in my model. The only difference being is that rather than them going so the roof is long ways, I'm going to put it in the centre here, so that when the roof goes on that way and down, this is keeping it apart, not necessarily using the top part as a structure. But I've got it, so I might as well use it. If I don't like it, I can rip it out and do something else. So I'm going to stick this section together now it's dried, and We'll see how it goes. Bit like watching paint dry, this, isn't it? Right, I'll finish this. I'm going to fill the centre parts out, fill it out, likewise up the top here, and I'll come back in a minute. Right, here it is. Looks pretty messy, doesn't it? As soon as you put the cover on, the top layer on, it don't look too bad. Now I will glue that now. Right, that's the outer section finished. And as you can see, that's what should have been there. The brickwork should have been inside there. Now I did try doing the centre pillars as thin as that, and it looked awful. Although I do like that, but on this it looked awful. So I've gone for larger centre sections, and yeah, I think that's going to look all right. Right, it's another day, and to do a little bit more. Now, as you can see, one wall done, quite thick, it won't bend. Now what I've done with this, as you can see, the bigger gaps rather than the thin one, I think that looks better. I'm not worried about the marks. It's an engine shed, it's going to get dirty, so I'm going to put stuff on it. So there you are. Now on the back, I've just put ordinary brickwork on there, but I've cut little grooves. And what will happen, I can't use the ones that go with it, these, because they're too small, too thin, whatever. So what I've done is I'm using that, and I'm cutting the big thick sections. Marvellous. So I put them down so I can show it, and then when I come to do it, I can't find them. Now I've got to cut these back a bit, but they will be two glued together to make it a little bit firmer, and then they just rest in there, and that will give me the proper spacing right the way across when I put them together. So that's that bit done. Very finicky, a lot of cutting, hell of a lot of cutting, but I'm pretty chuffed with it so far. I'm not too worried about that not being in line. If it isn't, I can cut it again and trim it, whatever. But at the moment, no, I'm more than happy with that. I've just done the other side again, so I can now take these off. One thing I have found, when you're building a model of this size, you need an awful lot of these, and I haven't got enough. And you see I've cut the grooves again in there. Now where this goes on this side here, yeah, you can only see 3 windows, because you've got the water tower there and the offices there. So that's that so far. Now when it comes to the end, that was quite interesting. With all the bits that you get with the kit, it actually makes it 3mm thick, which is, and I think that's 3mm, but yeah, because these are 1mm grey board. So when you do your first one, what I've done is I've done the actual two doors with the centre pillar. Now the roof comes down to there, but I don't think that's strong enough. So what I've done is I've made it a slightly bit higher, and I've cut a groove, and as you can see it's got a bit of a curve, and it will curve even more if I want. Now what I've done is the next one I've cut it a little bit smaller, and the third one again a little bit smaller, so you can see they're staggered. So what happens now is when I bend one, they all bend quite comfortably, and then what will happen is the roof will go on there, and there will be a slight overhang. Now on here is one that I've made up because they don't do anything like it, and as you can see they all fold in. Now what I've done there is I've cut the chimneys on the trains cut. Well, that's what it looks like. If you look on the picture here, you can see them there, and that's what I've done. So I've got to cut through there yet, but this section here, as I've got the coins on the side, they will be fitted on there, and that'll be like that. It comes with the original kit, so I might as well use it. You can see that all right. So that's what I'm up to now. These are going to be a pain, I think. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do them, but we'll work it out when I come to it. So that's where I am at the moment. So I'll be getting these finished, and then I'll be gluing the ends to either end, the two sides, and then once that's done I'll be cutting these to the right width, and then I'll be putting them in as well. So that's where I'm at. See you in a minute. More like an hour. Right, here we are. That's all right. That's both of them done. Very finicky. Just lots of splitting on the paper and whatever, but yeah, I got there. I might need allowed to dry out and then repainting again, but I think I'll do that when it's in situ. I'm not too worried about the streaks because, like I said, it's an engine shed and it's going to be dirty. So the next thing now is fit these to this, and then it'll be freestanding, and I'll put the beams on there. So I think cup of tea. Right, here we are. And that's the way it'll actually be on the railway layout. A pointing northwards. Not too bad. The beauty of this is where you see here, just there, it's not in line. It doesn't matter too much, because when the roof goes on, I'll show you this side, this goes on here, any mistakes there, and bearing in mind the roof's got to go across there, and you think, well, there's a gap there because it doesn't fall flat. I don't want to cut that anymore because that's a good solid support. But what I've done is I've done a number of these, and what that goes is that goes in there like that, and any mistakes will be covered by that. Now I've got to do quite a few because, as you appreciate, there's 6 this side. I think I only have to do 3 the other side because the buildings here hide it. But yeah, it's coming along quite nicely, and it's level and flat. But I don't want to move it too much because it's out of sync or whatever until I put the roof supports in there. Of course, the roof supports, so you see, go in those little grooves there, but you don't see them on the outside. So yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that so far. And of course, when you've got your hand there, you can see how big it is. A lot bigger than Metcalfe's. Now I can't remember, but these brick supports that go underneath the eaves, this is not something I've just made off the cuff to cover any imperfections or gaps. If you look actually on the picture itself, you can actually see them there. So all I've done is they've bit of a bonus, they can cover up my gaps. The other thing I might add before I finish this part is that if you look down there, I don't know whether or not there are actually pipes going down. That's the best photo I've got and it doesn't show. Suffice to say is I'm going to cheat, I'm not going to include them. But I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and part 2 hopefully will be out shortly. Thanks a lot, cheers.